This is Get to Know the Royals. Today's edition, Jeff Dugdale, Director of Swimming Operations, also the Associate Athletic Director for Strategic Planning and Leadership Development, Mike Foyles, along with head coach Jeff Dugdale. Well, 11th season at Queens, in charge of both the men's and women's swimming programs, 5-time defending champion, national champion in both sports, 6-time CSC AA Coach of the Year. I can keep going if you'd like, but thank
No,
you so
that's
much
fine.
for coming on today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Mike. I appreciate this.
So you're from Wisconsin, Kenosha, Wisconsin, and you
That's
swam at
right.
Auburn under head coach David Marsh. When in your swimming career, your athletic career, did you start to realize that you had sort of the skill set and maybe building the knowledge base to end up being somebody who can build a collegiate program?
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, I have a very non-traditional path to coaching, and that started with swimming at Auburn. When in my junior year, Coach Marsh had, after spending a season with him, he had basically looked at. He had identified me as somebody who could help him build the national championship team. So, very specifically, I'll remember him asking me to come up to his office, and I remember getting halfway down the hallway, and I could hear on a speakerphone my mom on the other line of a phone talking to David and the other assistant coaches, and I felt instantly sick to my stomach, thinking I had done something wrong. And I got into the room, and he sat me down, and he told me that my mom was on the phone, and that he was going to be asking something of me that he had never had to ask because he was new to the coaching ranks. But he felt for him to accomplish his vision, he had to put, as he put it, the right people, not only the right people on the bus, but then in the right seats, and then in order to win and to that could follow it and take his vision to the next level. And so he asked me to actually retire from swimming and being on the team, and to become the recruiting coordinator with now the head coach at Michigan, Mike Bottom, Dave Bottom, his brother, myself, and Coach Marsh, and it just I believed in his system. I believed in and trusted him and the staff. So it was a no-brainer for me then to say, yeah, I think this is the path that I want to take.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's to have your career toward the end of your collegiate career to get that kind of responsibility put on you at such a young age. You're also the director of high performance for SwimMax Team Elite and assistant coach for the U.S. national team. You played such a pivotal role in so many young swimmers' road to glory. And so, what's kind of the most rewarding part of doing that? What makes you want to do that and continue to do it?
Yeah, and I'm now, since Team Elite has kind of broken into two divisions, East and West now, with David out in California. And so I've since just started focusing now just on Queens. But I think what if I were to be honest with myself, and having a strong emotional intelligence and self-awareness, it is I like to be a behind the scenes person. I like to help get people to the platform, and to give them resources, and to use my unique experiences through pharmaceutical industry, the money that has been invested in me, the the wisdom, the mentorship, all the great things that I've happened to feel that I was at the right place at the right time. I really want to sit down and have the real conversations with young men and women on what we can do to get them to achieve their fullest potential. One of my greatest experiences amongst many is right here in the back of me, is right up in the corner, is Davis Tarwater. And although I didn't have a ton of the hands-on coaching, what I had more of the role with Davis was just in having the real conversations with he and David and myself, in coming to Charlotte to be able to talk to him about how to put the Olympic Games in perspective, because he had just gone through two Olympics where he missed out by one spot, by hundredths of tenths of a second, and missed making the Olympic team, and just basically just unraveled and had tied his identity of who he is with what he does, and that was unhealthy. And when he wanted to come back and work with us, we had to have a real talk and say, you're welcome to be with us as long as you don't, we're going to keep you honest. And now to see him win a gold medal, and to see him thriving as a father and as a husband, and doing the great things he is in Knoxville, Tennessee now, is pretty rewarding. But I mean, there's many, I can tell you many college swimming, many different situations, but those are some of the things that where success came out of a real conversation to say, do not confuse who you are with what you do. So.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. Um, I got to speak to a couple of your former swimmers and a few of these previous interviews. I got to talk to Dion Dreesens and Marius Kuch, and both European, and they're talking about how I kind of asked them what the difference was, because they both had some cool kind of professional experience before heading to Queens. And what was the biggest difference between swimming collegiately and what they're doing swimming professionally? And they talked about they were just kind of blown away by the team culture and the amount of team support, team bonding that you had at Queens. And is that something that's really important to you as you build a program, establishing that kind of positive energy around your program?
Yeah, I would say that. And here's, if I've, again, back to the self-awareness thing, my true talent is putting together some amazing programs. And when I say amazing, I feel like I get people and I know people, and I feel like there's tons and tons of better coaches. But what I know is that you can be a great coach, but if you don't understand the people and how they tick, and how the intricacies, what makes them, I always use this thing, what makes them great makes them bad. What makes them, examples I have on, also on little cliche sayings, is that you don't know what you don't know. And I'm always looking to see on putting together teams that, if you can put swimmer A with swimmer B and even C, they will do something that nobody can do, they could never do by themselves or on any other program. So when I'm recruiting, I'm constantly looking at things like a big game of Tetris, or a big game of a big puzzle, and putting the pieces together. And that's why when I recruit, I have, my conversations are so different with each individual, because I'm looking to find their role within that puzzle and how they're going to fit and how that piece fits. And when it comes together, and sometimes they can't see it, so I got to help them find that. And when that role comes together, it becomes a sweet spot. And but you've got to be willing and have a program and the flexibility and supportive administration that, to have a good program, you got to treat everybody the same by treating them differently. You can't have equity. And equity brings about harmony and mediocrity. And so, and although that's, in some places in life you want fair, that is not going to happen in a program of excellence. You have to be able to explain why this person is performing at the highest level and why they are different. And if you can't do that, then it will create a bad culture. And we are all into providing a great culture.
I couldn't say it better. Maybe finish off on maybe a more of a lighter question. You grew up in Wisconsin. It's probably a little nicer that it's a lot warmer where you reside now, in Charlotte. Do you have a favorite vacation spot? I know COVID. Well, probably. I know you're always working. So if there's something kind of favorite vacation spot somewhere maybe close to the area, what would that be?
Well, I love anytime I can spend time up in Lake Norman or in Charleston, but also any water. If I can spend time around Lake Michigan, going back home, I still have family in Wisconsin. My significant other is from Wisconsin, so I love to go back, just not in the winter. And I love to be in and around the lake area, and all water sports are my thing. And
Of
I love
course.
it, and I love the time we can spend with our family when doing that. So.
Absolutely. This has been Jeff Dugdale, Director of Swimming Operations for both men's and women's swimming program at Queen's University of Charlotte. So excited for the new season, and I'm going to have a pair of dominant teams again, and we're all excited to see you back on campus.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you for all you do. Go Royals.